Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the feminine flower herself, Sandy Reevy.
Hi, everybody.
It is episode 2.
It is planting season for me.
It is.
This year.
It is episode 202 and June 6th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have a short week starting with Friday, June 10th, Mercury trine Pluto.
Say what you mean.
And Saturday, June 11th, Venus conjunct Uranus.
Expressive freedom.
And we're going to tell you a little bit about our talisman of the month, and on the horizon, give you some updates on our June astrology forecast and cheat sheet and our retreats. And in our house, Sandy has a very special retrograde story for us all. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story.
Hello, feminine flower.
Yes, I have gotten a late start on my planting, and it's now, light so long that I was doing night planting.
You're doing night planting.
With my little birdie, my little bird, little love bird with the two little birds, the two Gemini, I don't know, brother, sister babies
Chicks.
that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in one planter and I'm working on the other three. So we chat and she feeds them.
Have a good relationship. You don't try to to cast them away.
Well, I tried for months and she kept coming back to there's other planters. Oh, that's funny. I had a hard time saying planters when I'm always saying planets.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go to any other of my neighbors.
Right.
Planters. She kept choosing mine. So yeah, this is a short week.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
Right. A very short week. But first, I want to go direct to all of our listeners saying thank you so much for all of your feedback. We did receive one message from Stephanie, and she was live for our June astrology forecast. And she wrote, super needed this today. I retired from corporate America late March and have been trying to figure out what's next. Seems June is the month to hone in and figure it out. Thank you. And then you and Susan actually went in a little bit deeper into, talking about what's going on this month and how it can, how she can work with it. And she also commented back, I'm tearing up with this validation. Thank you so much. So shout out to Stephanie. Hopefully she's also listening to the podcast.
Yeah. And she's right on board, right on time. She did not miss the boat. She got on or got off at the right time.
Right.
However you want to look at that. And, it is a big adjustment to be busy, being in charge of something, having your routine, prepping your clothes, making sure you got gas in your car to get to work in time the next day. Just all of that to go to drop out basically of all of that, because it's time that's why they call it tire. Like you can be tired. You can be tired.
Oh, is that what that means?
It's right in the word.
Okay, so let's move into the transits because we have a very short week, like we were discussing before. We just have 2 transits to discuss. Friday, June 10th, Mercury trine Pluto.
Yeah, this is the third and final pass of Mercury because, Mercury's stationed direct. He's moving forward now. So this is the third and final pass. Say what you mean. The first pass was April 28th. So go look in your calendars. Did something come up around that date, the day before, the day after? April 28th, that was still being discussed or reviewed or researched. The second pass was May 25. And this is the last date, the 10th of June. It can be surprising information. Your recalibrations are correct. You can now say what you mean. Bring it up, cough it up. Expirate. Hey, what
Expectorant or like,
expectorate.
well, yeah, okay.
It's
Yeah.
action word. Like say what's down deep in your body, your soul that needs to be brought up into the light. Tell your deep truth, even if it is a secret. Share it
Mhm.
with someone that might relieve you of what's been, maybe heavy. But again, it's a trine. So it says that there's the harmonizing aspect to say, yeah, this is how I feel about that. This is how I'm telling you that now you know. Now you
Right.
know. Now we can work on something. And we just finished the with Susan Goodell, our Chatting with the Stars for June, and she brought up a really interesting she watches the mundane news more than I do. But because she still gets the newspaper. I love that about her, right?
Yeah, it makes it sound like
She's a
it's
writer. She's a
foreign
writer.
news.
And so um, she mentioned that on April 28th, there was and I don't remember all of the words, that there was a committee assigned to the January 6th insurgents, that they were going to be diving into some information. And then on May 25th, there was another uh, situation around that they were finding some hidden information. And now that they have announced that on June 9th, the day before this, the 10th, right, on the 9th, they've announced that they're going to have a news conference to share some of this information. So all in, the timing is so correct. Tell the deep truth, even if it's a secret. Recalibrations are correct. So if we're watching it in the real world, in our mundane world, it's happening somewhere in our own lives. So
Yeah.
really look into that, check into that. Yeah.
And Saturday, June 11th, Venus conjunct Uranus.
Venus conjunct Uranus. Uranus has been in Taurus now for 3-4 years. And Venus comes around every year and meets up with Uranus as Uranus is visiting her house or her home, or traditional astrologers call it her place. So she's meeting up with Uranus, expressive freedom. Now, this happens right around 6 p.m. And really, it's the do you. Who can do you better than you? Really?
No one.
No one else can. So it is the easiest thing one can do. When inhibitions are thrown into the wind. Like, don't worry about being judged. Don't have that, oh, I really shouldn't do this. Uranus is like, do it, say it, speak it, shake things up, awaken. Uranus is the awakener, and Venus is coming to meet it. It says you can change where you are standing. Be in your authentic nature. That is authentic. That is there's breakthroughs here. And you know me, I'm going to talk about pink.
Right.
The song that we always dance to, sometimes I put it on just for us to laugh and be jolly, and because we have a whole dance routine, you and I.
We do.
And it's the song All I Know So Far. And so we can't play it here, but I'm dying to.
Right.
But we get black or red flagged or something. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the lyrics, but if you can just go ask your lady in the box or the black box that I can't say here right now, because she'll respond, ask for her to play Pink's All I Know So Far. She speaks about throw your head back and spit in the wind. Let the walls crack because it lets the light in. Let them drag you through hell. They can't tell you to change who you are. That's all I know so far. And when the storm's out, you run in the rain. Put your sword down. Dive right into the pain. Stay unfiltered and loud. You'll be proud of that skin full of scars. That's all I know so far. I'm going to go on because this is our last aspect. And if I can see through my tears. She goes on saying, so you might give yourself away and pay full price for each mistake. But when the candy coating hides the razor blade, you can cut yourself loose and use that rage. I wish someone would have told me that this darkness comes and goes. People will pretend our baby girl nobody knows. And even I can't teach you how to fly, but I can show you how to live like your life is on the line.
I love that song.
This is Venus conjunct Uranus. Your life is yours to choose. Go express your freedom. Have a breakthrough. Yeah.
Such a good one. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Just even when you just like say it like a poem, it still sounds so great. And but when Pink's singing it, when you're watching the music video, when you're, just like either dancing to it or, singing along with the words, it's so powerful. And music is that. It's that elevation of
so one more time
freedom
for the encore. Throw your head back and spit in the wind. Let the walls crack because it lets the light in. Let them drag you through hell. They can't tell you to change who you are. That's all I know so far. And when the storm's out, you run in the rain. Put the sword down. Dive right into the pain. Stay unfiltered and loud. You'll be proud of the skin full of scars. That's all I know so far. All right. Applause. Lighter. All
right. So in talisman times, you just being crazy busy with traveling and getting your land legs back from all those boat rides in Greece, we're open on the finished and upcoming talismans. However, we do have our talisman of the month to nurture children. And this is, you can see it using the link in the description, or head over to the website and you'll see the talisman of the month. It's a special price and you also get a shipping credit. So let's move into On the Horizon because we do have some new things that we just finished up, which was the June astrology forecast. That was with Sandy and Susan on Facebook. So if you want to click that link in the description, you have the ability to check out that hour-long forecast that Sandy and Susan discuss, as well as download your June cheat sheet. And we have all 3 of our early bird deposits still ready and waiting for you for the retreats. I know that Mexico is going to be stopping here shortly, and going to regular price. So let's see. January 21st to the 28th is our 2023 Mexico retreat. April 1st to the 11th is the Bali retreat. Those dates are currently tentative. And then September 7th through the 14th, 2023, that's the Amargos Greek retreat.
Yeah. And we already got our first sign up.
Ooh.
So these retreats, they're $500 deposits to hold your space. And if, some of these are 2023's dates. And if you're unable to attend up to a certain date, a certain point, then that money can be used for another retreat or talisman or just credited on your account somewhere. So you won't lose that money. You'll be able to purchase something on the website.
Yes. So let's move into our house where you have a Mercury retrograde story for us.
Well, I hope I'm not beating this over the head because I feel like I'm maybe I'm just talking to a lot of people about this because I just came from NORWAC, the Northwestern Astrological Conference in Seattle. And I must have told this story so many times to the astrologers that was like, oh my God, that is a classic Mercury retrograde story. And so I don't think I shared it here. You said I
Nope.
have, you're the one that takes the notes. So I'll tell it here. And I really do. And you know, when we talk about going direct at the top of our podcast, anyone can write to us and talk about an aspect that you lived in real time of what literally happened, you know, down here in your life. You know, we talk
Right.
about what's happening in the sky, but as above, so below. Tell your story here. And I hope that I will be doing this more often because, you know, I have side stories all the time. But this one really kind of took the cake. And this is, I'm heading to Greece. I booked my flights way in advance because I personally wanted to experience the Jupiter transiting from Pisces into Aries. And it was happening that first week in May. And so I'm going to Greece really, really, really like 5 or 6 days earlier than when the retreat that I was attending began, for this one purpose of, you know, my sun's at 29 degrees of Pisces. So when Jupiter's sitting on my sun, you know, dreaming, wishing, you know, imagining all of these beautiful, magical thoughts I had where my sun could, you know, radiate. I wanted to leave Chicago while Jupiter was sitting on my sun at 29 degrees of Pisces. And I wanted to arrive, because we're moving toward Europe, right? I wanted to arrive in Greece when Jupiter had moved into Aries, where I'm actually actualizing my dream. I'm actually putting it into action, right?
Cool.
Jupiter in Aries, moving in, stirring something.
Right.
And so I thought that would be a really good purposeful intention that I could use that. But I knew that Mercury was retrograding that same day. And I thought, oh, well, I still want to go and I'm going to pay more attention to Jupiter. Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year. It'll just be a story. So off I go. We get out on time. We're flying. I've got my first glass of red wine. You know, I have 2 glasses of red wine and then I try and sleep. Hard to do, but at least that's my plan. Got my first big glass of red wine because they poured big high ones. People were already settling in. They've got their eye masks on. All the lights are out. And we are moving along. An hour and a half into the flight, the pilot comes on and says, I am about to do a sharp left turn. We're in a plane. We're in a jet. We're in a international.
They're big.
And we're going to make a sharp left turn. We are heading back to Chicago. And we're all like, what? We're an hour and a half on the way. He said, our right wing is one of the spoilers is inoperable. And I'm sitting on the right-hand side of the plane. So I'm looking out at the window that I'm sitting next to. And I had noticed one of them was down. You know how those flap up and they're all different spoilers and they're flapping up and down. And this one is just all the way down. It hasn't moved at all. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew that was a problem. Like, I don't know what the left side of the plane's doing on that left wing, but the right side kind of feels like it's broken. And, you know, Mercury is the winged messenger, wings.
Right.
So he's saying our wing is malfunctioning. It is causing a drag. We noticed this when we took off, but we are losing too much gas, fuel, so we can't get over the ocean. So we're going to turn back now. We're like, well, hell yeah. Like, too bad we got all this time in.
Right.
So we're flying back an hour and a half and we're getting ready to, you know, put up our seats and, you know, put all of our things away. And he gets back on the speaker and says, remember when we left, it was windy, and we had a little bit of turbulence coming up, up to the heights.
Mhm.
Well, it's windier now. And so we're going to get some turbulence on the way down. But I don't want you to think it's the wings problem. I don't want you to have a fear,
Well, that's good.
right? So that was good. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, good news. The wing is not the cause of the windiness
Mhm.
of the turbulence we'll go through. But I also want to alert you that you're going to see red. We're going to be greeted by red flashing ambulances and emergency vehicles. Well, he didn't say ambulances. He said emergency vehicles. Well, as we're getting ready and we're getting ready to land, and yeah, it was turbulent landing, but not like I've had worse. In other
Okay.
words,
Yeah.
so we're all looking and we're going ambulance, fire truck, police officer, like all along both sides of the runway.
Hmm.
And we find out, and as soon as we land, the head flight attendant, there's 12 flight attendants on international flights. Flight attendant gets on and said, "We'd like to thank Captain Morgan." I'm sure it wasn't Captain. That's what just came to my head.
Okay.
Captain Morgan, for a safe landing. Thank you for getting, and all of the flight attendants start clapping. So we're all like,
Wow.
what just happened?
Mhm.
And we find out later that they closed the runway because, with all those emergency vehicles, they were expecting something possibly to have a crash landing. And we would have to be, taken care of. So they had to close the runway.
Wow.
No other planes coming in right after.
Wow.
So we get off the plane. They ask us to step in line because now they have to get a new plane. And the new plane's got to come from Atlanta. And then they've got to get a new crew because the crew will time out at this 9 hours it's going to take to get the plane in. So now they have to get 3 international pilots and 12 flight attendants. These flight attendants have to fly in from their on-call location, like where they live. There's people on call, right, for this particular thing. Well, they all have to arrive. So they're going to give us a food voucher because they'd be serving us dinner, right?
Right.
So we all get in line and people start complaining as they're peeling away. And I get up and I'm like, is this say $12? Like I don't have
At an airport? That'll get you an apple.
Does this say $12? And she says, yes, man, it is. That is what we offer. And I'm just like, look, and I'm like, hey, I fly Southwest. Southwest would have given me a $300, because remember what that happened in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
They gave us a $300 travel voucher that would get us anywhere else. We'd go for $300, like $12. So we were all hilariously laughing that you could get an apple and a cookie or a bottle of water and a cookie.
Right. That's it.
And then it was 9 hours waiting for the next plane. So anyway,
Wow.
it was just that. And when I was mentioning this to Ariel Gutman, because I'll tell that story maybe next week, I went to visit her. She hosted me at her house and took me around Nefplio, where she lives in Greece. Said classical Mercury, like you start off going forward and Mercury turns around and goes back to where it already had been.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I really classic Mercury retrograde story.
Wow. Very classic. But at the same time, I just can't even believe that they would only give you $12. Everyone knows at the airport you need to be expecting insane prices.
Anyway, but we made it and it was fine. I did have to cancel or postpone a Greek cooking class that I had scheduled for that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but everybody on that end got the message and I was running late. So anyway, that's it. I had a marvelous time.
Yeah. It was a turbulent start, but it turned out to be a really awesome trip for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll hear about the Ariel Gutman story next time. And I think that's a wrap for us today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening in. We really greatly appreciate all the feedback that you can give us. Remember to email me, alex@intentionbeads.com, or give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us, or tell a friend. And with that, that is an end to our podcast today. Everybody, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the